All right, that resolution carries. We're moving on down into the appointment of the new county attorney. We've got 3 resolutions. I'm going to go ahead and let the sponsors read those, and then we're going to take any nominations from the floor, and we're going to have a vote from there. So, number 2023-07-05, introduced by Commissioner Gibson.
To the Honorable Mark DeWitt, Chairman, and the members of the Hawkins County Board of Commission, the regular session met this 24th day of July 2023. Resolution in reference appointment of Allen J. Kalp to the position of Hawkins County Attorney. Whereas upon the passing of Hawkins County Attorney James O. Phillips, the position has been declared vacant per the Tennessee Code, TCA 8-48-101 and TCA 5-5-11. And whereas official notice of the vacancy has been published in a local newspaper on June 24th and July 12th of 2023, and whereas per Hawkins County Private Act, the county legislative body selects the new county attorney by a majority vote of those eligible to participate in said vote, and whereas the attorney Allen J. Kalp is fully qualified to be appointed to the currently open Hawkins County attorney position, having extensive experience in general civil litigation such as contracts, land disputes, deeds, and has experience in representing governmental agencies. And whereas attorney Allen J. Kalp is licensed in all Tennessee courts and the United States District Court, and whereas Mr. Kalp is resident and maintains his office in Hawkins County, Tennessee, and whereas upon researching attorney Allen J. Kalp's record with the Tennessee Board of Professional Responsibility, there are no decisions of any type to be listed verifying that Mr. Kalp's character and demeanor are beyond reproach. Now therefore be it resolved that Allen J. Kalp be placed in nomination for the position of the Hawkins County Attorney, subject to the majority vote of the Hawkins County Commission, with term beginning immediately upon passage of this resolution and ending the same as Mr. Phillips' term, who he's replacing on the 4th Monday of January 2027. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
All right, that's a nomination, doesn't really need a second, so we're going to do the next resolution, 2023-07-06, introduced by Commissioner Maddox.
To the Honorable Mark DeWitt, Chairman, and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commissions, the regular sessions met this 24th day of July 2023. Resolution reference the appointment of Jefferson B. Fairchild to the position of Hawkins County Attorney. Whereas Jefferson B. Fairchild has been attorney for 22 years, he opened his practice in Hawkins County, Tennessee in 2001 after graduating law school 2 years from Western Michigan, Allen Coup School of Law. And whereas Jefferson is a lifelong resident of Hawkins County, with exception to when he attended law school. He is a former board member of the Rogersville Heritage Association, Rogersville 4th of July Celebration, and Deacon First Baptist Church of Rogersville. And whereas Jefferson comes from a long line of farmers where he worked for Moco Farm Store, Almost Father, he has visited many farms and become acquainted with many farmers and the residents of Hawkins County. And whereas Jefferson is hardworking, integrity, ethical, and approachable, and would be considered an honor to serve Hawkins County, with giving back to the county that has given so much during his lifetime. Therefore, be it resolved that Jefferson B. Fairchild be appointed to the position of Hawkins County Attorney of the Hawkins County Commission after passage of the resolution, with the term ending on the 4th Monday of January 2027.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Maddox. Once again, that's a nomination, doesn't require a second. So we'll move on to 2023-07-07, introduced by Commissioner Palmer.
To the Honorable Mark DeWitt, Chairman, and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commission in regular session met the 24th day of July 2023. Resolution in reference appointment of Crystal Jesse to the position of Hawkins County Attorney. Whereas upon the passing of Hawkins County Attorney James O. Phillips, the position has been declared vacant for Tennessee Code annotated TCA 848-101 and TCA 55111. And whereas the official notice of vacancy had been published in the local newspaper on June 24th and July 12th, 2023. And whereas the Hawkins County Private Act, the county legislative body selects a new county attorney by majority of votes of those eligible to participate in said vote. And whereas Attorney Crystal Jesse desired to be appointed to the currently open Hawkins County Attorney position, having extensive legal and community experience as shown on the attached curriculum slide. And whereas Attorney Crystal Jesse is licensed in all Tennessee courts and the United States District and Superior Courts, and whereas Ms. Jesse has provided information attached to this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that Crystal Jesse be placed in nomination for the position of Hawkins County Attorney, subject to the majority vote of the Hawkins County Commission, with term beginning immediately upon passage of this resolution and ending the same as Mr. Phillips' term, who she is replacing on the 4th Monday of January 2027. Mr. Chairman,
Okay, we've got a nomination from Commissioner Palmer. Again, does not require a second. Does anybody have any nominations from the floor? All right, hearing none, I would like to have each one of these candidates come forward and give us about a 3-minute explanation of their career and what Hawkins County's attorney position would mean to them. Mr. Cow?
Good evening. My wife and I moved to Hawkins County, Tennessee 43 years ago to open a hardware store. That was my dream, not hers, in Mount Carmel, Tennessee. And after many years of working hard at that, it soon became evident that the day of the small independent businessman, and especially the hardware store trade, was going to dry up. So I went back to law school down at UT. I graduated there in '94. I've been practicing for 26 years. My wife went also back to school and became a nurse. She works at Ballad Health. We have 2 children. Tim, my son, who I understand has been pestering you for money, and I have a daughter, Alexandra, both raised in Hawkins County schools. In the 26 years I've been practicing, we've been in partnership with my partner, Joe May. We have several governmental or other institutional clients that we do work with. We believe that the best way to work with a client is to be very straightforward, upfront, and tell it like it is. I know you folks have a lot on your agenda for tonight, and I would say that I feel very honored to be considered for the county attorney. And unless you have some questions for me, I'll let you get on with the county's business.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Cow?
I do.
Okay. Pull your mic down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you, Mr. Cal, for being here. And I have one question. I know you and I spoke on the phone, and I appreciate you taking the time to answer a couple of questions for me there. In the review, I noticed that your partner is the city attorney for the city of Lawrenceville. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I know I asked you about conflicts if we ended up having over this EMS agreement that we potentially will be working on, right? That
Exactly.
you may have to recuse yourself from both sides
Okay.
in terms of Mount Carmel.
And that's true. There is a possibility that if there was a material adverse conflict concurrently going on, I would have to recuse myself.
Okay. Would that apply? I'm sorry. Would that apply to your to the city of Lawrenceville as well? If you had a partner, if we were in discussions with them over something, would you both have to recuse yourselves in that situation as well?
Yes, we would. Generally, that's an unusual occurrence in this type of situation because there's obviously the conflict of interest in 1.7 in the rules of professional conduct, but there's also a rule called 2.2, and it says that there is nothing wrong with an attorney being an intermediary in representing both sides of an argument when it's a non-adversarial proceeding in the effort to accomplish some kind of common objective. I think that's exactly what we're talking about in the idea of having a quasi-governmental EMS service. So I don't think in that situation it would apply. However, you are correct. If there was actually a suit against it or whatever between the two, we'd have to step aside. I think you were the one that had reminded me that also that Mr. Phillips had the same potential conflict with his brother, who was the attorney for the town of Rogersville. And apparently it very seldom have ever occurred. In fact, I think recall just one time it occurred, and they had to step aside. In the type of clients we're talking about, the idea of a conflict is much less likely than in a normal one when you have individual people. Because most of the time you guys are all looking out for the welfare of the citizens of Mount Carmel, whether they live in Rogersville or they live in Mount Carmel, whether they live in Rogersville, the county commission, and then you generally have a very interests that are not adversarial is the best way to put it.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for Mr. Cow? Mr. Thacker didn't. I see somebody buzzed in. No?
Thank you for considering it.
Let's hear from Mr. Fairchild.
Good afternoon. First, I would appreciate you considering me for the county attorney position. And let me give you a brief, if you know me, you know me. If you don't, I'll make it brief, but I want to explain to you who I am and why I think why I'm interested in this position. Real quickly, I was born and raised here in Hawkins County. Except for when I was in college and law school, I've always lived here. I've never lived anywhere else. My law practice has always been here in Hawkins County. In fact, if you go about 100 feet out that side door, you're going to be in the front door of my office, where it's been for roughly 22 years. Like I said, born here in Hawkins County, went to city school right up the street, then Cherokee High School. From there, I went to Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, graduated, and then from there, realized that I wasn't going to be in the music business like I thought I was going to be. So did some soul searching, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Got accepted to Cooley Law School up in Michigan. They were one of the top 26, top 25 law schools in the nation at the time. I think they still are. I graduated from law school in 2 years. I kind of feel a little weird here trying to boast, but you need to know who I am. But I did graduate law school in 2 years. Immediately after graduation, 2 months later, came back from Michigan back to Tennessee and took the Tennessee bar. Not the Michigan bar, but the Tennessee bar, and I passed it on my first attempt. As I graduated and came down, took the bar, like I said, 2 months after the fact, I took a teaching position at Belmont University, and then waited on to receive the results of the bar exam, which take 4 or 5 months to get your results. Like I said, I passed, but that's where I'll say I was at a crossroads in my life. I think everybody on your own personal level, you've had your own crossroads where you can look back and go, I could have gone left, I could have gone right, I could have gone north, I could have gone south. Well, at that moment in time, I had an opportunity to either stay in Nashville and pursue my dreams there, or come back to Rogersville, come back to Hawkins County. I did a lot of praying, soul searching, and I came back to Hawkins County not out of convenience, but out of conviction. It was my calling to come back here, and I've been here for 22 years. I have a great practice. I've got a great situation. I am blessed, and I'll be the first to tell you I'm blessed beyond measure. But anyway, let me move from there and tell you why I'm interested in the position, and I feel like the position would suit me well. Well, after Mr. Phillips passed away, I was approached by Chancellor Jenkins and William Phillips. And as you know, William Phillips is our circuit court judge now, and he worked with his father and his uncle in Phillips and Hale. And they both approached me and asked if I'd be willing to wind down the law practice, because that there was no one left in the firm. I, as well as I think Miss Amy Skelton's in the back, we took on that responsibility, and we have been over the last few months winding down that practice, meaning I receive, and in fact go 100 feet into my office, go 100 feet that way, go to my office, I have all of Phillips and Hale in my office. We've got 2 law firms in one office I have, and so I've been cycling through along with Miss Skelton, we've been cycling through all his active files. A lot of his active files are Hawkins County files. So I've been doing the work. Enjoy the work. I think I'm honored that Chancellor Jenkins and Judge William Phillips entrusted Phillips and Hale to me and Ms. Skelton. I'm honored by that, and I would be absolutely honored if I was chosen to be Hawkins County's attorney. I'll end it with this. I'd like to just say that Hawkins County, like I said, I'm blessed. Hawkins County's given more to me from the time I was born to right now than I believe I could ever give back. But I'd like to have this opportunity to give back. I love this county. When I travel, I have friends in Nashville, friends all over. I'm proud of Hawkins County. I mean, you have people ask you where you're from. I'm proud that I'm from East Tennessee, but I even zoom in even more than just East Tennessee. I'm proud that I'm from Hawkins County. So, again, I'd be honored to be chosen. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Fairchild? I don't see any. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jesse.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for the opportunity to stand here before you. I am a proud citizen of Hawkins County. I was born and raised here, and I've been in front of you all on many occasions, and that's what leads me back here today. As you know, I've represented the county since 2017 in the opioid litigation. I've also got to represent other counties and see the intricacies, and it has drew me to love the county law and the county philosophy and to get to know people across the county. More importantly, I've always tried to give back to Hawkins County, not just in being one of the few attorneys that have brought home litigation money to the county, but I've recruited industries. Simcoe putting a $20 million facility on the upper end of the county, Southern Waste Services buying land and putting a facility at the urging of the county mayor and my family on the lower end of the county. And originally 1998 is where it began with Irwin Forest Products. My family has always taught me to give back. After my father passed, I had to take up the role of the farm and move back to Hawkins County. I know there's been some questions about my residency. I have proof of residency if anyone wants to see my driver's license. After my father passed, we had to make some tough decisions, and deeds were recorded earlier this year, and I've had to move in with my mother. So the residence requirement should not be an issue. What is an issue, and one of my main concerns, and one of the main reasons I'm here, is the conflicts requirement. We pay an abnormally large amount of taxes in this county. We pay an attorney to do a job. The last thing I want to see is us to have to pay another attorney because we have several governmental clients that are being represented by specific people and that we have to conflict each other out. The taxpayers don't deserve that burden. What I can assure you is this: if I'm your county attorney, I am just your county attorney. I have no other conflicts in the county, and I'll have no other conflicts, and I will not be another attorney for another governmental entity that will conflict out with this position. I strive to work hard for the county. I strive to bring opportunities back to the county, and I fully request your support. With that being said, do you have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Jessie?
Yes, Mr. Kern.
I have a question about, of course, there's been a question about the legality and everything, and I want you probably answered that. And I guess my concern was is we were in a lawsuit and found out that we had an illegal attorney and get it tossed out. I was concerned about your residence and where you vote and how long you've been in Hawkins County.
Well, I've been in Hawkins County all my life. I've owned property here. My father died in February. I was just asking Ms. Kirkpatrick when we recorded the deeds. My physical residence probably moved around May. I updated my driver's license, which I have a copy of in June, that came in the mail in July. My voter's registration should be on the way because I checked the little box saying that it would be moved as well. But I questioned that law in that in traveling across the state, I met Lillian Sales from Overton County, and she wasn't a resident of Overton County. Overton County had a private act, and she still served as their county attorney. I serve as your county attorney now for the opioid litigation. You have other attorneys as well when you outsource to insurance companies that serve as your capacity. So my residency, as for the vote tonight, and going forward, as long as I have to live in Hawkins County with my mother, will be Hawkins County. I've had a firm here since 2009. I have worked in this jurisdiction ever since I came back to East Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Carter. Commissioner Dillon.
This will be a question more maybe for you, Mr. Mayor. The private act that we operate under, as Mr. Kern asked about the residency, that is not a state requirement. Is that correct? That's a private act that was enacted by the county commission at that time?
It's a private act that established the county attorney position.
By this body, though, by
By
the body at that
this
time.
body and by the body of legislatures in the state of Tennessee. That private act had to be ratified by 2/3 vote here, 2/3 vote at the state, and then come back 2/3 vote again here, like any other private act would have been. Several of you have sent questions to CTAS about residency requirements, and I mean, it may be a moot point at this time, but the opinion that has come back from CTAS is, looks like under the private act, the county attorney is a county official with a term of office. They believe the county attorney in Hawkins must reside in the county. And it's got several attached attorney general opinions, et cetera. It's not a CTAS, it's not a TCA requirement. If we were to go under TCA rules for the county attorney, the mayor would be responsible for hiring the county attorney. But we have this private act that says that this body votes for and retains the county attorney.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that because one, I think it's an odd rule to have, but maybe it made more sense at the time, but because back then there was no email, no cell phones, no text messaging. Maybe communication was harder and it was important to have a local attorney. However, that no longer applies today, so I really feel like that's, if it is a rule, in my opinion, it shouldn't be.
Okay, let me clarify that. It's not a rule according to the private act. Private act establishes the office. The office holder requirements for me, for anyone else who holds an office in Hawkins County, you have to reside in the county. It's not a rule that was put in place by the private act.
Thank you for that. And so that, those same rules, I guess, do not apply to the school board who just recently hired an attorney out of Knox County. Is that correct?
I don't have any idea how they hired someone or not, that they're not under my purview.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Ms. Jesse. Here's what we're going to do from here forward. Ms. Davis is going to call the roll, and you're going to vote for one of the three. If we don't have someone who has 8 votes at the end of this first round, then the lowest vote getter will be eliminated, and we'll go to the next 2. Does everybody understand that? Okay.
I'm doing these in alphabetical order to start with. Need to acknowledge whether you vote for Mr. Cowell, Mr. Fairchild, or Ms. Jessie. Danny Alvis,
Miss Jessie.
Nancy Barker,
Count.
Jeff Barrett,
Cal.
Chad Britton,
Cal.
Larry Clontz,
Cal.
Linda Davis,
Fairchild.
John Gibson,
Cal.
Josh Gillen,
Jesse.
Tom Kern,
Count.
Joey Maddox,
Fairchild.
Robbie Palmer,
Jesse.
Jason Roach,
Cal.
Charles Thacker,
Yes.
and Commissioner Trent.
Jesse.
We have 7 for Mr. Cowell, 2 for Mr. Fairchild, and 5 for Ms. Jessie.
Okay, so the rule comes into place that the lowest vote getter, Mr. Fairchild, is not considered in this next round. So we're going to vote again, and your choice will be between Mr. Cowell and Ms. Jessie. Everybody understand that?
Second.
Okay.
All right. Going in reverse order. Commissioner Trent,
Jesse.
Commissioner Gibson,
Count.
Barrett,
Cal.
Kern,
Count.
Alvis,
Jesse.
Thacker,
Yes.
Gillen,
Jesse.
Britton,
Cal.
Davis,
Cal.
Roach,
Cal.
Barker, Clontz,
Cal.
Palmer,
Jesse.
Maddox,
Jesse.
eight. Mr. Cowell, 6 for Ms. Jessie.
Okay, Mr. Cowell, you've been elected as the Hawkins County Attorney. We appreciate it, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much.